She disliked her stepdaughter and made her do all household chores like scrubbing floors, cooking, and sewing from morning till late at night. The prince, on the other hand, announced that he would marry the girl who had left her slipper on the staircase. A search for the girl was ordered. Hello everyone, my name is Muhammadullah and I'm your English teacher. In this video, we're going to start a new chapter. So today, we're going to start third chapter, Cinderella. About the chapter, Cinderella was a pretty young girl who was ill-treated by her stepsisters. Once a fairy godmother transformed her into a princess and the prince of the town decided to marry her. Once upon a time, there was a rich gentleman who had a pretty and kind-hearted daughter named Cinderella. When his wife died, he married again. His new wife was a cruel and spiteful woman. She had two daughters who were just like her. She disliked her stepdaughter and made her do all household chores like scrubbing floors, cooking, and sewing from morning till late at night. Cinderella did not have good clothes, but even in her rags, she looked more beautiful than her stepsisters. Once the prince of the town invited all people of the area to join him in a dance and feast. Once the prince of the town invited all people of the area to join him in a dance and feast. The two stepsisters were also invited. While Cinderella helped her stepsisters make their dresses, they cut fun at her if she would also think to go to the feast. But Cinderella knew that she could not go in her shabby, patched clothes and she had nothing else to wear. On the day of the feast, Cinderella helped her sisters to dress. She shined their shoes, brushed their hair, and fastened their necklaces. As soon as the sisters left for the feast, she started crying. Suddenly there was a sound. She looked up and saw an old lady dressed in a silver gown, holding a magic wand in her left hand. Her wings moved slowly like a hand fan. "I'm your fairy godmother," she smiled, "and if you would like to go to the feast, do as I say. Go and fetch a large pumpkin and your bird's cage." Cinderella followed her advice. The fairy godmother touched her magic wand onto the pumpkin, which turned into a magnificent golden chariot. Then she transformed 6 pigeons into beautiful horses, and old Parrot was turned into a coachman. She turned 6 ants into 6 bodyguards who climbed up the chariot. "Now you can go to the feast," said the fairy godmother. But Cinderella was still in her rags. "Oh, I nearly forgot." As she touched her with her magic wand, her clothes turned into a gown with silvery and golden threads with pretty glass slippers. Dressed like a princess, Cinderella mounted on to the chariot. "Be careful," said the fairy godmother. "At the stroke of midnight, my magic would run out, and you must return before that." Cinderella nodded and went off. At the palace, Cinderella was treated like a princess, but no one knew who she was. The prince eyed only at her, the beautiful stranger who danced gracefully. The prince did not dance with anyone else but her. As Cinderella heard the clock strike 11:45 at night, she hurried away from the palace, even without saying goodbye to the prince. The prince tried to go behind her, but she had gone too far. She tripped on the stairs, leaving behind her one of the glass slippers. As she stepped out of the palace, the clock struck 12. All the magic vanished. She was again in her rags. What was left of the magic was a slipper on one of her feet. The prince, on the other hand, announced that he would marry the girl who had left her slipper on the staircase. A search for the girl was ordered. All the ladies of the town tried the slipper, but it was too tiny to fit on anyone's foot. The prince's servants also came to Cinderella's house. Her cruel stepsisters laughed at her, but the prince's servant sat down to try the slipper on her foot. It fitted her perfectly. The sisters were even more astonished when Cinderella brought the other slipper from a hidden place. The two sisters begged her to forgive them for their spiteful behavior, which of course she did. She was then taken to the prince, and soon after they were married. Alright, so that's it for today.